you know whether or not if you're receiving something that is for that person. Because you can have 5 people in the room and you receive a message. So what do, right? So then you really have to know how to home in on which person is this message for. I've been there and done that. Hello, beautiful creatures. Welcome to my channel. I am Aradia, the Witch of Dark Light, and I hope you all are doing well. So this video, I believe, depending on how it goes, because I want to talk about a few things, and hopefully it turns out to be a video that I can have for the Advanced Witchcraft series, and it's going to be about intuition. So we'll see how that goes, but when I finish, you'll see by the title what it's all about. But I wanted to talk a little bit first about intuition, my thoughts on it, why I think it's important, what that looks like in the beginning, and 3 important things that I think, and there's others, but I just want to highlight a few things that I think is helpful when you want to further develop your intuition when you go from beyond the basics. So if you want to join me and hear what it is that I have to say, grab a seat. And to all of you who are new here, welcome. All things witchy. This video is part of hopefully it's going to be a part of a series that I have, a mini series. I'm not sure how many more videos I'm going to do. It's all about beyond the basics of witchcraft. So grab a seat. So first, when you come into the world of witchcraft, you come into the topic of intuition, right? Because this is something that is very important to understand when you are working in the realms of witchcraft, because you're walking into an unknown territory, right? If you're newer to the craft, it is important that you be guided by your intuition so that you can follow your true path, and also so that you can work a little witchcraft and understand how that works with your intuition. And typically some of the things that you hear is like mindfulness, journaling, meditation, trust your gut, work with nature, all of these things that is a process to you developing your intuition. Some people are naturally gifted before coming into the world of witchcraft. They are already in tune with hearing those voices and understanding that this is information being channeled, but this is not the case for everyone. So I'm speaking to those that are newer or are looking to develop their intuition and what that looks like from the beginning, and working on it to develop it in a more advanced capacity. So I want to share with you why I think it is important. And the first thing I want to share what that is important to help you is when we talk about mindfulness, we also should include health and mind, literally your mind. So developing this also is a part of developing the healthy state of your mind. So I want to share with you some of the things that I have recently introduced into my practice and have helped me tremendously. Now, throughout my spiritual practice, I've always incorporated, because that's just a part of who I am, with herbals and different things like that, botanicals. I've always been into what improves my health in a more natural approach, in a more alternative approach. So that's usually working with plants. And I'm so happy that it took me a few years. I've been watching this company on the radar for some time now, and I finally decided to order it. It was from Anima Munda, and I have it right here. So I'll share with you the 2 things that I purchased and have been using it for about a month now. And this is something that I'm not, it's going to be a part of my practice for the unforeseeable future, like going forward, because they have been such a tremendous help. And the reason why I've used, and I'll get into what they are, I've used some of this in a different form and worked with it, but this company has created a blend that has all of the things that I like to use. So the first one is an adaptogen, and hopefully you can see that. And this has 7 medicinal mushrooms in it, and I've worked with reishi mushroom and several other lion's mane, several other mushrooms, but not in a blend. So I usually purchase it separately, and periodically I've worked with using them as a tonic. But I have incorporated using this in the morning before I have a cup of coffee, because I'm trying to wean myself off of coffee. We'll see how that goes. I have a little bit, but I still drink it periodically and maybe just a little a day. But what I do if I do drink the coffee is I try to remember to add some of this blend in the coffee, because what I'm finding that it has done, it has taken away some of the acidic components that caffeine or coffee can leave in your system. It can make it very acidic, like throw off your pH balance, depending on how much caffeine, depending on your system, your body makeup. But for me, and you hear a lot of people say that it like coffee, when you drink coffee every day, can cause bloating and different things. So I was having some of those symptoms, so I wanted to try to wean myself off, but also add these mushrooms in it, which is I'm in love with them. So I use them. I drink some mushroom tea every morning, and then towards a little late morning, I'll have coffee and still add a little mushroom into the coffee, or try to go without having the coffee. And that is to improve your brain function. So this is why I wanted to talk about it, because a lot of times when we talk about developing our psychic awareness and our psychic abilities and our intuition, we don't take into consideration that health has a big part to do with it. For me, you know, I'm not a young buck, so this is important. The older you get, especially, you know, when you reach my age, it's important to keep up with those things, because, you know, the older you get, you know, there's memory loss, you forget some things. So that's another reason why I wanted to include it. But the next thing I'm in love with even more, because this is also can help with tapping into your intuition. And with all of this, please do your own due diligence and find out if this is something that you can work with, or, you know, ingest, you know, because some people are allergic to mushrooms. So, you know, you just want to keep that into consideration. And the next thing is blue lotus tea. So I'm going to open it so you can kind of, I mean, it looks like just like a bunch of plants, dried plants, but hopefully you can see that. Right. So I've taken this, I tried it a couple of ways. When I first took it, it was on a night that I had an event, and I had like 1 or 2 drinks. And then when I went to bed, you know, I had alcohol in my system. So I still drank some tea, some blue lotus tea, before I went to bed. And what happened was, it was kind of uncomfortable, because it made me, I felt like I was like floating. So I wasn't able to really focus on what it was that I was seeing in the astral. So it absolutely worked, but in combination with the drink that I had, the you know, previously before that, it kind of had an effect that I didn't like. So the next day I made sure, you know, I didn't have anything to drink, but so I drank my tea before going to bed. First of all, it helps me sleep. I am going through menopausal symptoms, and it's difficult for me to sleep. So this 100% helps me sleep, which is one of the reasons why I love it. But also, it relaxes my nerves and puts me into kind of a dream state. I didn't need any help dreaming, but it was an easier flow into the astral, if that makes sense. For me, it was just like a little added incentive, like drinking it and automatically going into the astral. For me, this kind of helps me be more aware in the astral. I don't know if that's the same for everyone else, but I'm usually aware, but this gave me, like, I was more lucid in the astral. So I recommend, if this is something that you can ingest after, you want to do your due diligence. So if this is something that you can ingest, I 100% recommend Blue Lotus Tea. So on to why I think it is very important for you to work on developing your intuition. And this doesn't have to be with the reason doesn't have to be because you want to do tarot or you want to do divination. This is because you want to be attuned or in tune with messages being channeled for you, messages that are sent to you by your guides or whatever spirits you work with. Be in alignment with the things that are happening in nature. Just hearing that voice that tells you, well, maybe you shouldn't go this way, but go this way instead. These are the reasons. Not because you want to do, you want to channel a message for somebody. You need to channel the message for yourself, first of all. So I think it's important, and I'm going to give you an example why. So a lot of times, and I've been very guilty of this myself for a long time until I realized I had to learn. This is from experience. When we meet someone that could be the guru or someone that is even goes by the title psychic medium, and they are 100% have this gift. What happens is, this is not only applying to someone that's a psychic medium. This could apply to someone that's a guru or a teacher, a mentor, a counselor. They speak things and channel things because they have a gift to do these things. So a lot of times they speak things that are awakening for you, that you resonate with, that has answered a lot of your questions and helped you on your path. So then what happens is you assume that they are gifted. This is who they are and this is what they do, that everything that comes out of their mouth, you're naturally going to believe, because this is what they are, this is what they do, and that they have a gift for this. But what happens is, I don't care how gifted you are, if you are not working on yourself, if you have a balance, unbalanced ego, if you have just anything traumatic still inside that you aren't dealing with, actively working on and aware of, because there's things that you are unaware of that are within your programming, can change your perception. I'm talking about things that are like these strong traumatic things that we aren't dealing with. These things that are so detrimental to work on, right? For healing. You have this gift, but then you have these things that you haven't worked on, and they are 100% controlling parts of your perception. So then you channel a message, but then all of a sudden it takes a turn because your ego is not in balance, and you are speaking through the lens of your perception of these things that are within your subconscious. I've seen it so many times that you have this person that's so gifted in what it is that they do. Then all of a sudden my spidey senses tingle and then I'm like, wait a minute, something's off. Which is why I always say, okay, I hear what it is that you're saying. Thank you. I go home and I work with my intuition and I channel that message. I see if it resonates. I see if, okay, this was correct, because you don't know. Even myself, which is why I say, do your fact checking, do your homework, find out for yourself that whatever you heard is correct. Do the math, do the due diligence, do the search, research. These are the things that is so important, because what happens is, I see it so many times that people follow every word that someone says because they are gifted. And so if in your mind, if they are gifted, then they are speaking truth, right? But not everything is truth, and even the person may not even be aware. It's not that I'm saying that people do this intentionally, but they are unaware, right? Because these are things that are hidden, and they are unaware that maybe what they are saying is not a message from the spirits, but it went to the left, right? It took a left turn, and you are now speaking words that aren't the truth. So this is why I think it's so important, because you can be misled so easily. This is like in the occult tea tag, when that question was asked, how do you navigate that when someone can be false, or someone is not truly who they say they are? How can you navigate these things? By developing your intuition and being aware and asking questions upon questions like, okay, thank you. Thank you for that information. And you go back home and you work with that, and you call on your spirits, your guides, your gut feeling, all of these things, and work with that. Don't believe everything that comes out of every gifted person's mouth. So now let's talk about 3 things that I think is important, or when you want to work on developing your intuition further beyond the basics. And I have my notes here on my phone. So because I wanted to make sure that I have everything down for you guys. So there are 3 things that I want to talk about that you can work on to help you further develop your intuition. The first thing is expanding your perception. Intuitive exercises can expand your perception beyond limitations of logical reasoning. They encourage you to tap into your inner wisdom, creativity, intuition, and opening doors to new perspectives and solutions. So some of these things could look like cultivating openness. Now, I put this on the list because sometimes we aren't open to new ideas, right? Sometimes we have expectations. So we miss those messages because we are expecting it to come a certain way. We are expecting it to be a certain way, or maybe we aren't even expecting that we will receive this level of information. So being open, going into this saying, okay, I'm going to be open today to receive the messages that is necessary, however they come to me, however they are going to be channeled. So that's one of the ways that you can expand broaden your perception, right? So the other thing that I have here is curiosity. So being curious, right? That's those questions, asking those questions. When you hear something that, piques your interest, or even when somebody is giving you information, relaying information to you, be curious about it. Ask those questions, go back and do your homework and dig and find out about it. Or just be curious overall. When you see someone, look at them, and you're doing all of this observation within, obviously, right? When you see someone, just say, I wonder, what their emotion is like today. Is it the same yesterday? I wonder why. Can I feel the difference? This is what I mean by curiosity. Think about the things you feel around you. How do you feel one day to the next, and why? So these are things that are making you aware. By being curious, you find out things that you would not have even thought about because you wasn't paying attention to them. And the other thing that I have on the list is, again, along with that, challenge assumptions. So don't assume, right? Don't assume that black is black, right? Don't assume red is red, right? Some people, when you talk to some people, they are, I don't like to call them colorblind, I think there's another word for it, but they see colors a little differently. So what might be red to them might be blue. So don't assume things, because when you're talking to someone and you're saying, okay, this is the color I see, it's red. So you want to make sure that when delivering that message, that this person understands what red means. Red is action. Red is power. Red is assertiveness. Red is love, attraction. So this is what not assuming something is. Don't assume that that person knows what that color is, because they may not. And another thing I have on the list is engage in creative activities. Being creative 100% awakens your intuitiveness, right? Because being creative is being intuitive. So I don't even have to go into detail about that, because tapping into your art, tapping into music, tapping into anything that you can do that challenges your brain to be creative and birth something into existence. And the next thing I have on the list is empathy. It may sound like that's something that should go without saying, but I know some people that can develop some empathy. Because if you're not empathetic to a situation, or at least, because we all have not been in the same situation as someone else, right? So by trying to understand that person, you want to try to put yourself in their shoes and see why it is that they're behaving that way. And this is how you tap into being empathetic. And this further brings awareness and develops your intuition. And explore nature. Nature 100% is broadening your perception, expanding your perception, because there's so many different sounds, things you feel, things you see in nature. When you go on a trail, take a trail in nature and just try to tune in to all the things around you. The sounds of the birds, why are they chirping that way? This is all in being curious, right? Going into nature and being curious about all the things that are around you. Why is the wind blowing this direction? Just finding yourself in nature and being in tune with what is happening. And the next thing on the list is seek new experiences. A lot of times we get stuck in the rut, as they say, and we become creatures of habit. So sometimes a message may be channeled, or your intuition needs to take you a different route for you to receive what it is that you want to manifest, or for you to receive the message that is meant for you. You may have to detour. So just work on, experiencing, adding new things into your life. And it just could be something simple. It could be, some people have the same breakfast every day, maybe a different breakfast, but something simple to shake up the monotony of things can help you broaden your intuition. The next thing on the list, number 2, is enhanced decision making. Developing your intuition through exercises helps improve your decision making skills. So what that looks like could be you have an appointment schedule, or maybe you have to go to the store, to the grocery store. And with this decision, you have to do it. But you can tap into your intuition and be in tune with that decision, because maybe it's going to say, okay, maybe this is not the best time to go. Or it can help you be attuned to what it is that you really need, so you won't forget something. Just things like that. Using your intuition alongside things that you have to do. Tapping in to figure out whether or not it's the best way to do it, or best time to do it, or even if this is something that you should be doing that day. So this is what it's meant by it can help you with decision making, or using it alongside the decisions that you make every day, because this is how you develop your intuition And you'll get yourself in a habit where, okay, if someone says, okay, will you be going to so-and-so tomorrow? You know, I often hear people, Christians, say it's, you know, it's the Lord's will. I want to reclaim that and say, if somebody asks you something, you know, you'll say, okay, you're gonna let them know, or you're gonna think about it, because you have to go back and check in with your intuition. Do you resonate with this idea? Do you resonate with this decision? Do you resonate with, I think I'm gonna go there. So check with yourself, check with your intuition, your higher self, and see if you have that good gut feeling. and you know, it's okay to do whatever it is, or maybe not. So this is why I think actively practicing, working with seeing what your intuition says when you have to do your day-to-day task and decision makings can help you develop it and become more advanced. So number 3 is increased creativity. Engaging in intuitive exercises nurtures your creative expression. I was just mentioning this. Intuition and creativity are closely linked, and practicing intuitive exercises can inspire innovative ideas, solutions, and artistic endeavors. So this is what I was previously mentioning, that creativity is such a big part of advancing your awareness, advancing that intuition, and making you more confident, because confidence is a big factor to listening to your intuition, because a lot of times we question whether or not that is really our voice, or where's that voice coming from, and we kind of not listen to it. And then we find out later, like, oh shoot, I should have followed my first mind, which was your intuition. So being creative it taps into that magic. It is you creating something. So it's tapping into something that isn't already there. You are bringing this thing into existence. So I think this is a big part of tapping to intuition and helping you be confident, because the more you work on these things, you will become advanced. And when situations arise, or when someone's saying something to you, they're channeling a message for you, or you have a mentor and they are saying maybe you should do this, you will be able to hear and feel and understand the shift in those subtle energies, and that is your intuition. Intuition can and this is why a lot of times we miss it, because it is so subtle. It is all of a sudden you feel a shift in the energy of how you're feeling. All of a sudden, and it could be a negative energy, right? All of a sudden you feel like the clouds just came over. Or if it's something good, like you feel, it's almost sometimes when things good happen, you feel the chills, like you get goosebumps. Or when there's something overwhelming, when there's something that is like this, like the month of April is going to have all these energies, eclipse energy, you feel this heightened energy. So sometimes that can cause anxiety. So all of these things that require intuition have signs. They show themselves in all of these ways. So practicing this and being the key thing in all of these 3 things is awareness. So you got to open up your eyes, right? And I don't mean physical. I mean, open up your eyes to new things, new experiences, being creative. Questioning is right up there. That's like number 1. Question everything. Be curious. Be that person that is like probably that Aggie person in class that was always asking the questions and you was just trying to hurry up and finish the class and get home. That person will walk away feeling confident, feeling like they was heard, feeling like they got more information to help them understand it in their way. This is why you ask questions, because we all have different ways that we view things. Well, being curious is the one key word if you're walking away with anything to understand how to be more advanced and develop your intuition. Be curious. Because being curious will make you ask questions. Being curious will make you be aware. Being curious will make you put you in a place where you won't be put in a situation where you missed something and in hindsight you say to yourself, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. If you was curious in the beginning, then maybe you would have asked those questions that would made your spidey senses tingle. So these are just, there's more things, but we always hear those things in the beginning. The basics when we come in is your intuition and your intent, right? Your intent is a part of that. So we always hear these things in the beginning, but we don't, the next part of that is action, taking action, right? You don't just, in the beginning, we say, okay, I'm going to believe that what I want to manifest, I'm going to listen to my intuition and let it tell me how to do this. That's fine and dandy, but there's a broader, greater world out there. This is, you understand it, you feel it in yourself, but what happens with other situations outside of yourself that you have to understand? This is why you have to experience it and be curious with all the things that are going on around you. Understand it, be aware, have that vision, what's that side view, peripheral vision, be able to see all around you. When I'm in the car, whether I'm driving or I'm the passenger, my eyes are trained to see all around, even though I'm looking straight ahead. This is that type of vision that you have to be curious and be aware and observant. Observant is the other word that I think is important, because a lot of us walk through life asleep. This is why a lot of us need things like this adaptogen, to help our brain awaken and be aware, because sometimes our intuition, like I was mentioning, doesn't work because our brain is so overwhelmed and bogged down and, asleep. So be curious and wake up. And it's not all the time that you're going to make mistakes, right? You have to be comfortable with knowing that you're going to make mistakes. And what do I mean by that? And I'm saying this through experience. If I felt like I was seeing something, and for me to know for sure I would have to just speak it and say it to the person. And it's been some times where a person looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? Now, I could have been wrong. I could have been right, but they didn't let me know. So you have to be comfortable with that, right? Sometimes you could be wrong, or sometimes you're not going to get the justification or the confirmation that you were looking for to let you know that what you said was correct. So you have to be okay with that. It's just, it's an experience. You just have to continue. Don't let that be the thing that stops you, because you will essentially develop it to a point where whether or not, if you're receiving something that is for that person. Because you can have 5 people in the room and you receive a message. So what do you do, right? So then you really have to know how to home in on which person is this message for. I've been there and done that. So I think this is why the lady looked at me like I was crazy, because I don't believe the message was meant for her, but I had to learn that. I had to develop that. So it is a journey. This doesn't happen overnight. It took me years to be comfortable with, and even still Professionals, let me tell you, professionals that are so gifted. This is why I say be careful, because they have insecurities and an imbalance, and sometimes they're not dealing with it, so it's going to take over. So even the most gifted of professionals go through their moments and have insecurities. So this is why it's important for you to develop your own, so that you can be guided and trust your intuition and know those signs and hear the spidey senses tingling and trust and listen to those, right? So that is it for this video today. If you are not subscribed here, please do subscribe and hit like if this is something that you're interested in, or hit like just because you would like to support. But that is it for this video. I love you all, and into the shadows.